Hi, I'm Becky Parker Geist. I am the host of the Audiobook Connection podcast, Behind the Scenes with the Creative Teams. I am also president of Bay Area Independent Publishers Association and the CEO and founder of Pro Audio Voices and Amplify Audiobooks, providing audiobook and podcast production, distribution, and marketing. And today I get to have with me Pamela Blair. She's the author of The Reluctant Womb. Pamela has been a Broadway dancer, a social worker, a solo traveler through Africa and the Middle East, a single mother, a psychologist, and is now, post-retirement, a writer. Pamela, welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. So I remember when I first heard the title of your book, The Reluctant Womb, that title just immediately grabbed me. I was immediately intrigued. Can you tell us a little bit about how the title came to you and when it did you know as soon as you hit on it that that was it, was going to be the title?
I didn't know right away, and actually somebody suggested someone in my writing group suggested that it have the word womb in it, and I liked that idea. And then I thought, okay, well, what else besides womb? And the reluctant, another friend said, well, I like reluctant. And so it was a combination of friends actually that brought the title together. And I actually like the flow of the sound, the reluctant womb.
Yeah.
Um, and it also, I think, if it were just womb, there would be many other
Right.
many other hits, and so the reluctant womb seemed to stick, and I really like it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely just the womb. That could take you in so many different genres and
Yes,
directions.
yes, right.
Yeah. Well, and how did you get the idea for the book?
Well, I'm in a movie group, and we watched a movie about a young girl, I think she was 17, who had an abortion. And another woman in the group said, oh, that's such a trite story. I really, I wasn't that interested in it. And then I started talking about my two friends who'd gotten pregnant at the same time, one of whom had elected to have an abortion illegally, and the other one had her child adopted.
Mm.
And then I told other elements in the story that, are fairly dramatic. And all of a sudden, the woman who had complained at the beginning said, now that's a movie I would watch.
Ah.
Uh, I wasn't going to write a movie script, but I thought I could write it into a book, and that's how it started. And
Yeah.
it just gave me the idea for writing about these two friends of mine who had both become pregnant in 1963.
Yeah. And so you were already in a writing group at that time, is that right? Do I understand?
Not that kind of a writing group. I was in
Okay.
a travel writers group at that point,
Okay.
but I switched over. I think I joined the San Francisco Writers Grotto after that, and then
Hmm.
one thing led to another, and I've been in other writing groups since then.
Yeah. What I'm curious about what got you started on your writing journey.
I had a lot of stories to tell.
Ah, all right. That's
Yeah,
good
yeah,
reason. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm curious also about The Reluctant Womb. Did you begin that book before or after the Roe v. Wade was reversed?
I I actually began it before.
Mhm.
Um, it was during COVID, actually.
Oh, okay.
Had quite a lot of time,
Yeah.
and then Roe was reversed, and so then it became all the more relevant.
Right.
But I hadn't thought about that to begin with.
Mm. Were you focused on that at all? Did you know that that was at risk at
No,
the time?
well,
No.
I mean, I knew that there were lots of people who were against uh, legal abortions,
Right.
but I didn't know that it would be reversed. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know when that came, probably a year later
Yeah.
after I started the book. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, um, what would you say? I don't want to make assumptions about what might feel obvious, but so I'm going to ask you. So, what issues would you say your book addresses? Just to sort of lay it out
Uh,
there.
Well, the issue is the right to choose.
Right.
And it also, I guess I would say, and this might get into a longer discussion, but also I wanted there to be, I wanted to try to narrow the chasm between the two sides.
Mm,
Um, and so I think, I hope I treated the topic very evenly in the
mm-hmm,
book,
mm-hmm,
even though I did come down on the side of the woman should have a right to choose.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it is certainly one of many issues these days, but this one has always been very um, challenged, I think, in our navigating it because the passions run high on what's right and what's not right, right? So, do you have any uh, aside from being a woman, because I recognize just in that, I also, feel like this is a such an important topic. But are there any other things that come up for you about why this, um, it, why dealing with this is so important to you?
Well, at one point in my life, my mother revealed to me that she had tried to abort me
Mm.
twice, and I had uh, not I had not cooperated. I hung
I'm
on for
glad. Whew.
dear I hung on for dear life, and I'm still here. And so that definitely impacted me all during the time of when Roe was in effect, because I felt that I didn't know. I've never had an abortion myself, and I know that it can't ever be easy, but it felt like there were times when women were doing it. I don't know what I don't want to say thoughtlessly, but maybe they weren't being as careful about not getting pregnant,
Mm,
and because abortion was always available. And I wanted people to think about actually what they were doing.
mm-hmm.
And so I've put that kind of a character in the book, and I came up with the answer for me personally. And I don't know, I mean, for me personally, there's no good answer and there's
Yeah.
no right answer.
Right.
And
Yeah.
therefore, the government should stay out of it.
Right.
It
Right. It's
it
hard
has
enough.
it's hard enough, right? And because there's no right answer, then it has to be the woman's choice. The
Yeah.
government cannot be involved in it.
Yeah.
So that's where I ended up.
Yeah.
But there's no right answer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that must have been so hard to hear from your mother. How do you recall how old you were when she told you?
I was 36 and pregnant, actually.
And pregnant. Oh
Yeah,
my.
yeah. And she and planning to be a single mother.
Mm.
And she said, I wish I could have done what you're doing. And then the story came out.
Oh wow.
And so, yeah. And so I was so shocked. I didn't ask her all of the questions I should have asked, actually, or that
Right.
I wish I'd asked
Right.
later.
I can
Oh,
imagine.
why
Yeah.
didn't I ask that? Or why didn't
Right. Right. Yeah,
yeah.
that must have been terribly shocking. What tell us more if you don't mind sharing about that experience because I think so much it sounds like so much was going on with you being pregnant and then, hearing this from your mother um that yeah, I just
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Well, on top of that, she told me that my father, whom she had married, had raped her.
Oh,
And so there was another piece that I had to integrate somehow or other. And I think, I don't know if every child thinks this, but I kind of thought uh, that I was a product of great passion.
right, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't the kind of, it was aggressive passion. It wasn't. the passion of love. And so so I had to integrate that. And also, did she love me? You know,
Yeah.
the fact that I might not have been welcomed into the world as, most little babies are, uh,
Yeah.
as my own son was,
Yeah.
Uh, so, yeah, so there were lots of things that I've had to deal with over the years in knowing that.
Right.
And that plays a big part in the book. I think that the moral center of the book is that question of,
Mm.
about abortion and should it be legal, or should the government have any impact on it, or
Yeah.
any say in it? And I came down definitely on the side that the government needs to stay out of it, regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. Did when you were young, uh, as a kid, did you have any sense that you had um, did did you have a childhood where you thought that you were not welcomed in the world?
No, I
Good.
just assumed
That's
I was.
whew.
I mean, I think I really was by my father.
Mm,
And and so no, I never had that thought.
that's good.
My parents, looking back, I could say, "Oh, that's why they never
Mhm.
celebrated their anniversary," or, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
that's
Mhm.
why she seemed so cold to him." And
Mm,
there
mhm.
lots and oh, that's why he was so angry. And a lot of um things I recognized later, but I didn't at the time. And I think I
Yeah.
was shut off. I mean, I was just kind of shut down as a child. And
Mhm.
maybe that's why I became a psychologist later on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it sounds like you had, just from what you've shared, that your experience has sort of uniquely qualified you for addressing some of these questions.
I
Um,
hope so. I
yeah,
would
yeah,
love it if other people thought so.
yeah. So I'm curious about one aspect of the book. There are these letters from Chris, and so knowing that this is a fiction, but did you write the letters from Chris that were in the book?
I didn't. I edited some of them,
Mhm.
and there were many more than what happened is that the other woman, the person who had her child adopted, um, was the recipient of these letters, and she had saved them over the years,
Oh,
um, and then I guess she decided to type them up, and I think she had plans to, possibly publish them herself because
hmm,
she thought they were such beautiful letters. And so she sent them to me about 10 years ago. And when I got the idea for the book, I thought about those letters, and I asked her, could I tell the story and could I use the letters? And she said, yes, of course.
yeah.
And sadly, she died a little over a year ago, and so she didn't see the birth of the book. She
Mhm.
did see an early version of it,
Mhm.
and it was all fictionalized, based on facts
Right,
that
right.
happened. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, amazing. Okay. I want to ask you one more question before we take a break. About the book and the content and your position, if you will. But do you think that if a young woman were to become pregnant today and she read your book, do you think she would be more likely to have an abortion or not? Do you think that?
I hoped that my book wouldn't influence her.
Hmm,
I think it has to be her own decision, and now that it isn't legal again, I mean, it's a lot harder to make that decision, and that's one reason I wrote the book, because I don't think, it should be illegal.
right,
Uh,
right.
but I, I didn't want to come down on one side or the other. As I say,
Mhm.
there's no good answer. There's
Right.
no right answer, and it has to probably be one of the most difficult decisions a woman will ever have to make.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't. I hope that I wouldn't have that kind of influence, other than to possibly help a woman to look at it more deeply.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe to understand that there are valid points on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I
Although still the government shouldn't be involved in it.
totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I'll just share before we take our break that I I have three wonderful daughters myself, but uh, had uh, I had to make that decision about an abortion at one point and did go through with it. I was married, but my husband was leaving me, and it was very, very difficult. And I think one of the most horrible experiences that I had ever had in my life. So I I I have my own perspective on, what it can be. Um, and I really appreciate that you have taken the initiative to create this book, The Reluctant Womb, to help women who are facing the question.
Mm.
And with that, let's just take a short pause, and then we're going to come right back.
Okay.
The Reluctant Womb: Life Before Roe v. Wade, a novel by Pamela Blair. A powerful novel of friendship, choice, and survival before Roe v. Wade, when a woman's options could define her destiny. In 1963, three college friends at the University of Michigan are on the cusp of adulthood, full of dreams and discovering their place in the world. But when two of them become pregnant, they face an impossible reality. Abortion is illegal, birth control hard to come by, and society is quick to judge. Set in the years before Roe v. Wade, The Reluctant Womb follows these young women as they grapple with love, shame, secrecy, and the consequences of choices no one should be forced to make alone. Against the backdrop of the sexual revolution, shifting gender roles, and political unrest, their stories illuminate the emotional and societal weight of unplanned pregnancy in a time when women had little agency over their own bodies. Based on true events and written by one of the women who lived them, Pamela Blair's novel is both a poignant coming-of-age story and a timely reminder of how much and how little has changed. For readers of historical fiction, women's fiction, and memoir-style novels, The Reluctant Womb is an unforgettable story of resilience, friendship, and the fight for reproductive freedom. Get your copy of the audiobook edition of The Reluctant Womb by Pamela Blair on Amplify Audiobooks today. So I'm going back in my mind to when you and I first talked about working on your audiobook. And in the back of your book, I love that you have these discussion questions. And we decided to go ahead and include those in the audiobook. Tell us, do you have experience as a book club member? Did that inform your decision to write those questions, or tell us about that decision, or just to have them in the book?
Yeah, I am a book club member. I don't know if I wrote the best questions to, end of book questions. But I think the one that and I don't even remember all of them. Um, I guess I wanted to try to put women or people who were reading the book in the shoes of these women and try to imagine what they would do if they were that character.
Yeah.
And so, if you were Chris, do you think that you would have done the same thing that she did? Or if you were Thea, would you have done the same thing? And um, so that's why, I mean, that was kind of the intent of the questions. I sometimes really don't like the questions at the backs of books. Um, but that was what I wanted to do, try to bring people into thinking about what would it have been like if they had been any of those characters.
Yeah, that's great. And just so you and our listeners know, soon on Amplify Audiobooks, we will be able to have hosted audiobook clubs. And so perhaps that might be something you would consider hosting an audiobook club that
Oh my
includes your
goodness.
audiobook. So
Yeah.
that would be amazing
Sure.
to be able to have that opportunity
Uh-huh.
for listeners to be able to connect directly with you as they will be able to do very soon. So
I would love that.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, great. Um, and so let's talk a little bit about your the audiobook. When we talked, I know that um, that there were some accents that were important to you. Tell us a little bit about that concern initially, and then we'll talk more. Yeah.
Well, I would say that I was quite concerned at the beginning, and I grew less concerned over time. And the reason is that I felt like I needed a reader that had um, some maturity
Hmm.
about her, who mm, I don't know, maybe had gone through the same difficult decision.
Hmm.
Um, and so the those accents there was a French accent, a couple of African accents. I can't remember all the other
Like
accents.
Boston. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Bostonian accent, and they became less important over time. The African, oh, and also Jamaican accent, and I think the Jamaican accent might have been the hardest to um, uh, uh, achieve.
Yeah.
Uh, successfully. So I don't really know what it will sound like, but they weren't so important
Hmm.
after a while. I just
Yeah.
wanted somebody to who could really tell my story.
Yeah, yeah, and I wanted to bring it up and ask you about that because this is not the first time I've heard that from authors where initially you think that the accents are really important, then as you get into it, you realize just how the most important thing is the overall voice that they're capturing the story and really being able to share that story effectively.
Yeah. And I wanted to make sure that the reader, um, I don't necessarily mean agreed with me, but there was some simpatico between me and the reader.
Hmm.
I didn't want there to be someone who kind of judged it, because it would
Right.
come out in the writing. And
Right.
I hope that's what I've gotten. I think
Yeah.
that's what I've gotten
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah.
Now I know that we're in production right now, but I wanted to ask if there's anything that stands out to you so far about the audiobook production process or pre-production process, anything that.
Well, what stands out for me is I got to choose the reader. That I thought that was just wonderful. I mean, I felt like the casting director myself. I thought, oh,
Yeah.
I'm a part of this process. So that was the thing that really stood out to me that I
Mm,
really loved in the whole
great.
thing. And I chose somebody to begin with that I wasn't satisfied with, and I went back and said, I just don't think this person is going to do it.
Hmm.
I don't think I would listen to the book if she read it.
Hmm.
And and you changed it,
Yep.
that
Yep.
was totally fine. And so
Yeah.
so also that was very important to me that you were willing to be flexible and go through more steps and
Hmm.
you know uh bring in some other people and I'm really grateful
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. It's really important to us that the author, it's your creation, it's your book, and it's really important to us that we are collaborating with you in a way that you end up with something you're really, really happy with.
Yes.
So, yeah, happy to do all
Yeah.
of that. And tell our listeners, if you would, where is the best place that they can learn more about you and your writing, your website first.
My website is pamelablair.net,
Great.
and it's easy to get to. And there's a lot of my travel writing is on that. I mean, some of it, and a website is not an easy thing for somebody like me, a Luddite, to keep up.
Uh-huh.
But I have got somebody now who's helping me with it, and so I'm very happy to be adding things from time to time. I've just come back from a trip to Europe, and I'm writing another book, and I visited the school that features very largely in the book that I'm currently writing,
Mm.
and I need to write a little piece about that when I haven't done it yet, but
Uh-huh.
the person who's helping me is, very good at goading me. You have to we have we have those AI, to-do list
Uh-huh.
afterwards. And so yeah, so it's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, that's good. So, yeah, so that's what I was about to ask next of what you're working on and what's coming up. So you've got
Oh,
another book in the works. That's great to hear.
yes. Would
Um,
you like to hear about it?
I would. Yes, please do tell.
Okay. Uh, this is also about friends. But they're no longer living. Well, neither are the others at this point. It's an older couple. They're German, and one of them, the woman, was Jewish, and her husband was not. And they grew up in Nazi Germany, and they fell in love, and they could not get married. And because of his connection with her and her family, he had to flee the country. And her family eventually, they ran this school, a boarding school in Germany for many, many years, a very progressive school. They were kicked out because it was illegal for Jews to teach Aryans. And then they moved to Switzerland and had another school, but finally decided that they needed to come to New York and to the United States. And so they did, and they started schools in the United States, two very, very prominent boarding schools. One of them isn't a boarding school, but two very, very prominent schools in the United States. So it's a story about immigrants and their gifts to the United States
Oh,
also.
good,
Yeah.
good. We need more and more and more of
Yeah.
those because
Yeah.
it's unbelievable what's going on.
And they
Um,
were able to marry in the
oh,
US.
good,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad to hear that. And is there anything else that you would like to share that I haven't asked you about? I just want to give you that
Oh
opportunity.
gosh. Let me look at my list. Uh, okay, so I have what was the takeaway? I said a more nuanced view of abortion,
Mhm.
and that I would just love to get this book out to more people in
I
their ears, their eyes, and their hands, as I put it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we're going to do everything we can here. And I want to encourage our listeners to get The Reluctant Womb on Amplify Audiobooks, which is the best way to support Pamela and her work and her ongoing ability to keep writing more great content for us.
Thank you.
So, Pamela Blair, author of The Reluctant Womb. Pamela, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.